Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Progressive Overload podcast. Have you ever thought about strengthening multiple areas of your life at the same time? Then you've come to the right place. Our goal is to help you identify ways that you might need a progressive overload to break through those plateaus and keep you growing.
Hey, what's up, Progressive Overload podcast family? I'm your host, and the gentle wave. No, that was a pretty excited wave.
Yeah.
From
Hey,
Joseph.
guys.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm Tyson Burwell, the Kyokin kid, and I'm with Joseph Almighty
Joseph
Copeland.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Worked
Miss you
out
last week?
Yeah. We had a good trip though.
You had some R&R?
Yeah, it was much needed.
That's good, man. I'm glad.
Not burnout, but I could tell I was getting tired.
You needed a long weekend getaway.
Yeah, it was good.
Well, that's good. Me and Dustin held down the fort while you were gone.
Yeah,
it was
appreciate
good.
It.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I'm surprised though, man. I'm normally have to babysit you guys. I didn't even have to get a sitter or anything.
No,
you guys did
okay. We were just fine.
Well, good.
All right. How would you describe your job to a 5-year-old?
Well, from the 5-year-olds, most of the time they're more excited about the cage fighting.
Of course.
So, they're like, I know you fight for, all my little students love that part of me.
Yeah.
To a 5-year-old, my job as an occupational therapist assistant, basically I get you back to feeling better where you're able to do your regular daily tasks.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably how you have to explain to an average adult.
Everybody.
Too, because nobody knows what occupational therapy is.
Totally.
Like, you're just a physical therapist, right? But it's called occupational therapy.
Yeah. There's a lot of overlap.
I know. There is. But, the average adult doesn't know the difference between OT and PT.
True. In fact, I've known doctors that don't know the difference. So there's that.
Well, now you know. Mine's pretty dang easy, like, because my daughter's 5, and she knows what I do. It's actually funny. They did my daughter's school did a career week or whatever.
Yeah.
Where basically without being probed or without being fed information or whatever, they asked the kids just on the whim, what do your parents do for a living?
Oh yeah.
And of course, I live in an Air Force town, so a lot of them are like, my dad's an airplane pilot,
right.
Stuff like that.
Works on airplanes.
Or works on airplanes, something like that. And then Presley said, my daddy helps people get stronger. And I was like, I'm so proud. Because that's a large majority of it.
Pretty much it.
Yeah. And it was kind of funny because almost all of the moms, like, even if they have a job, they were like, my mommy does the dishes, or my mommy does the laundry. And then luckily Presley said my mommy helps people feel better because she's a nurse.
She's a nurse.
Anyways, I thought that was funny that.
Yeah. Mom makes dinner. That's it.
Yeah, literally. I was like, man, I feel bad for those moms because they
do so much more.
There's so much more than that. But of course, it's just a 5-year-old. So,
yep.
On the agenda today, we're going to talk about meal timing or nutrient timing, kind of two different or two words in the same. This is kind of a thing that most of the time gets overplayed. Yeah. They put it on they put it way higher on the pedestal than where it needs to be, and we'll talk about that later.
Well, I think it just tends to complicate things more so than it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's
for sure.
And I guess that's part of the marketing schemes is to make it
a lot of times
make it like we know something that you need to know, and you'll have to pay us for that information.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that's where all this stuff comes from.
A lot of it does. Yeah. There are facts. There are scientific facts that talk about nutrient timing and when's the best time to take this shake in or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there is truth in that, and we'll get into that truth. But you really have to kind of ask yourself, where am I in my level of commitment to this? Go ahead.
If you're a professional athlete, then timing your meals and making sure you have enough for recovery and all that good stuff. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that. But you need to have a little bit more. You're paying attention to that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to lose 50 pounds, it's not that big.
Right. So we can talk about meal timing based on your goals, such as muscle building, weight loss, and then like performance.
Yes, sir.
So like I said, there's truth to some of this, and if you are to a point where you're dialed in, you're killing the nutrition game, you're killing the workouts, and you're looking. It's almost, I view it as like supplements. You're looking for that one extra like edge to just push yourself a little bit further.
Sure.
That's the way I view it, because like you have no gain. You have no purpose of going and spending hundreds of dollars on supplements if you're not dialing your nutrition in first. And same thing with meal timing. So, say your goal is muscle building. What do you think the best meal timing, nutrient timing hacks are for that?
I'm not so sure about timing on that one. For me, so long as you're getting your protein in and you're getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass, I don't think it matters when you get it at all.
Right. So, I mean, that's totally true. The thing I hear the most is like, you'll hear people say, the way to do this is you got to eat 6 meals a day.
I've heard that.
If you eat these 6 meals a day, you're going to boost your metabolism. And that's it's kind of like a bro science thing. Like they say that this is true because of this, is false, but it's true actually because of this. And so they say it's going to speed up your metabolism, but really if you're somebody who is committing to eating 6 meals a day, it's not something that you can just wake up and go on the whim and like figure it out as you go. The behavior around eating 6 meals a day requires so much more preparation.
Meal prep.
You're thinking about what you're going to be eating. You're not just, all right, I'm going to run to the fast food place down the street for my meal number 4 today. You know, you're not doing those kinds of things.
Sure.
And so there's behavioral truth behind the 6 meals a day idea, but not. I mean, you're not increasing your caloric output through increasing your metabolism.
Well, believe it or not, you are to a very, very small effect just through thermogenics of digestion.
Right. The thermic effect of food.
Yeah, you hear about that. Basically, it's like less than 10%.
Oh, yeah, way less than that. Yeah, it's minute.
Yeah, it's this huge. But people will completely give that too much credit and say that's part of it.
Exactly.
It's just not.
Yeah, they're looking for that little piece of science so that they can solidify their argument against it or for it.
That being said, though, if it's working for you, I mean that's what we preach all the time.
Literally.
If it works for you, do it. No one's sitting here
100%.
bashing 6 meals a day.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
But if it works for you and that's what worked, do it.
Yeah, 100%. And like the reason 6 meals a day works for people is because they're most likely having to get 200 grams of protein in. And so if I only eat 1 to 2 meals a day and I like do intermittent fasting or something like that, that means you're got to hit 100 grams of protein each meal.
In a meal, yeah.
Like that's the digestion issues that will come with that, or they'll send you right to the toilet if you sit there and eat 100 grams of protein.
Totally agree, and that goes specifically for the hard gainers and and some of the fighters that I work with that are having a hard time keeping their mass, especially once they increase their workload for these fight camps.
Right.
I recommend that. Eating more throughout the day, which will just help digestion and also make sure that you get the amount of calories and proteins that you need.
Right, 100%. As we kind of go into meal timing for fat loss, the 6 meals a day thing works great for that too. But once again, just because of the behavior that comes with it is, planning out your meals, planning out your calories, that you're so much more present and conscious with those decisions. For me, when I tend to eat about 2 meals a day, like 2 major meals a day, and I know you're similar. And that's because I have
no time.
Yeah, something like that. No, I hate small meals. It's probably a negative behavior on my part. But I want to leave a meal feeling full. Sure. I hate having a meal in quotations and like still being hungry.
Yeah.
I hate that so much. And so it's probably not a great behavior for me to be doing 6 meals a day if I know that that's my behavior.
Right. There's an old Japanese adage where it talks about not eating till you're full, but till you're satisfied. Yeah. It's impossible. Because I'm not satisfied till I'm full.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're similar in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, I've heard of people actually doing the opposite. They'll be intermittent fasting throughout the entire day, and they have these little eating windows, and then they'll have one meal, and it's basically just a feast where they get their entire. I don't think my stomach's built for that either. No. I mean, I can't fit in 2,600 calories in one meal and get all the protein and all that stuff without just feeling terrible.
If your only goal is caloric restriction, you might be able to eat it at a deficit there. But at the same time, it's very easy to just sit there and, I hadn't eaten anything all day, so I'm just going to pig out.
Sure.
That's always a possibility.
It would have to be a restriction for me because when I fast and I finally do eat, I can't eat as much as I thought I could.
It's true.
Your stomach shrinks down. And
I don't know if your stomach actually shrinks, but you're definitely not as much. You're not able to eat as much.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did like a 72-hour fast, and I went for like ribs and ham and beans and potato salad. I was in the bathroom before I even finished that meal.
Yeah. Well, there's something to be said about that because you actually starve out your digestive enzymes too.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to replenish them slowly before you can just.
It's true.
It's true. Smash a burger or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But intermittent fasting is another kind of fun thing. But what would you say about as far as post-workout meals and that kind of thing? And so if we are talking about timing, when do you think it actually is appropriate to make sure that you do get that refuel?
Yeah, so like for what goal and what, like, are you talking about muscle building
type
thing?
Yeah. You know, if I know you and I probably both heard it growing up, or not even, you know, in your beginning of your journey, but you know, they talked about, man, right after you get
the anabolic window.
You have 30 minutes to smash 60 grams of protein. You got to get it in.
Exactly.
So you're sweating and tired, and you got this thick milkshake that you're supposed to try to drink.
Exactly.
And I've been that guy.
Oh yeah, everybody's been through that before, but because that was preached heavily for a long time.
I don't know where that stuff comes from.
It comes from protein supplement companies.
Probably. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, there was this myth called the anabolic window, and there's something to be said for replenishing. You know, and protein is required for muscle protein synthesis, and you have to have it on you. So, but if you're consistently hitting your protein goals day in, day out, it doesn't matter when.
Yep.
If you're fasted and then you go for a hard workout and you continue to fast throughout the day, it's most likely you're not going to maximize your potential there. So if that's an important thing to you, you know, take some protein in after your workout.
Right.
You know, replenish your glycogen stores and all sorts of stuff like that. But as far as like post-workout for like aerobic athletes, this is much more important. Because of just how depleted they get after like a long triathlon or a long bike or something like that. I mean, they're unless they're refeeding within their workout, which a lot of people do that. But they're going to be just so depleted in glycogen and all sorts of electrolytes, and so replenishing is definitely important then. But
I hang out with some of my old training partners. Miss Sean Villarreal, she does these long runs. You know, you're talking like 15-mile runs and whatnot. And she's got these little sugar gel packets that she carries with her. You know, it's like, gosh, dang,
how bad do you want that?
Well, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's why your body fails before then. You're not supposed to be able to carry around these little. You know, in nature, you're not going to have some blueberry packet that's got 1,000 grams of sugar in it or whatever. You know?
Just tracking down antelope for 100 miles and reaching for blueberries off a tree in the middle of your hunt.
But she loves it. She's an animal. Shout out to Miss Sean.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Something I'll never have interest in.
Well, that's why I admire it so much. Is I know that it's not for me, and it never will be.
I know.
Good on her. I'm glad there's people like that out there.
It's true. There's another thing that another kind of meal timing myth that I hear a lot is, if you eat right before you go to bed, it's gonna be stored as fat.
Right.
That's a huge myth that's been preached for forever.
Yeah, and I get the logic in it.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be able to eat something, and now you're not going to move for the next 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
I get the logic in it.
Yes.
But you know, science just doesn't show that that's true.
Yeah, it's I mean, if that person that tends to eat a snack right before bed gains weight, it's not because the food that they ate was turned right to fat.
Right.
It's because they've most likely already had all of their meals for the day.
Yeah.
And this was just an added extra, whatever, 200 to 500 calorie snack, whatever they ate before bed. And then you also have to look at the circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is very intricate and has different factors, and one of the factors that controls it is when we eat our meals.
Yeah.
Because our body just craves consistency and schedule and rhythm.
Right.
And so if you're eating right before bed, your rhythm's going to be way out of whack. You're not going to get as good a sleep. I know for me, if I don't eat dinner before 8 o'clock or something like that, my sleep is bad. Yeah.
See, I guess I've just forced my body into it because
Right.
I don't get
It's
done.
just part of your rhythm, I guess.
Yeah. I don't get done training until 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Right.
So I get home, shower, and then I got to eat, and then I got to go to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat typically right around 9 o'clock every night.
Jeez.
Yep. I go right to bed.
That's wild.
It's just,
I couldn't do it, man.
It's just what I've done forever.
I mean, yeah, and that's probably why it's fine. Your body's adapted to it.
Yeah.
It could probably be maximized doing something different, but
Well, it's either that or not eating.
it's either that or not.
You know,
you don't want to do that.
So,
yeah, I get it.
before we move too far, one thing that I see down there that I didn't think about too much was pre-workout meals.
Oh, right.
Are you big on that?
Right.
Do you like to eat
I'm
something?
not. Unless it's like if I'm gonna eat before a workout, it's got to be 3 to 4 hours, and that's what most recommendations are. If you're gonna have a pre-workout meal, it needs to be 3 to 4 hours beforehand, just so it can be fully digested and not sitting on top of your stomach.
See, that's the hard thing about taking fights because we have the same rules for my fighters. After weigh-ins are done, now it's fight day. You don't eat unless it's 4 hours before the fight. That's
really?
you're done eating.
Yeah.
But that's hard because I eat at 9 o'clock at night usually, and my fight's not till normally about 10:30. So I'm starving most of the time, which is good too. A hungry lion's more dangerous than a full lion.
That's
so
true.
maybe there's
That's
something
true.
to that.
There might be something there. If you're going to eat a pre-workout meal, it does need to have a certain, it's better to have a certain macro profile. So you do want it to be a little bit higher carb. So I think they recommend like a 2-to-1, like say 40 grams of carbs, 20 grams of protein, something like that. Yeah. So you can have those extra glycogen stores for your lifting. But for aerobic events, for aerobic training or something like that, it's 3-to-1. And so you need a lot more carbs for those kinds of training sessions.
Yeah.
Another important thing for post-workout that I forgot to mention is if someone in your case that you like to work out in the morning and then you work out again in the evening, it's super important to be replenishing all of those stores in between workouts.
Yeah.
So if you're a 2-a-dayer or maybe your session's broken in half, definitely important to have a meal in between those two.
See, I'm at the extremes too. It's 5 in
Early
the
in the
morning,
morning.
and then it's late at night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to make a living in between all that.
That's hard. So when I look at all of these meal timing discussions and all the things that you can do to maximize your efforts in the gym and in your aesthetic, muscle growth, aerobic performance type goals, it really I like to ask myself a couple different questions. And so and this is like a hierarchy of importance. So the most important thing is how much are you eating? How many calories are you eating? We don't need to be worrying about meal timing until we know exactly how many calories we're eating. Right. And then you ask yourself, how are you eating? So look at your behaviors around how you are choosing to eat. Are you binging? Are you restricting? Evaluate your behaviors around it. And then look at what are you eating. So like food quality. Are you eating whole natural protein, whole natural foods and vegetables, or is all of your protein coming from supplements and bars and shakes and all that fun stuff? And then if you're doing those three things consistently, if you're eating the right amount of calories, if you're eating the right amount of foods, the right amount of macros, then you can sit down and you can think about, okay, I think this will work better if I eat this meal at this time. Yeah. And if I eat this meal at this time, and if I bring this shake with me to eat after this workout, like that's such a tiny rock that you can move in your journey. But at the same time, it could make a big difference if it's something that you pay attention to.
Well, it's just hitting the next level.
Right, exactly.
Thing. It's like, okay, I've got this mastered. What's next?
Right.
And that's what's great about health, wellness, and exercise. There's always a next level.
It's true.
It's never ending.
Yeah.
And that's what's fun about it, and that's why you can never master it, really.
Right. That's true. I was just having a conversation with a client at 11 o'clock today. She's reached a level of leanness where, we're really looking at just like tiny little areas that she wants to lose a little bit of fat here, or she wants to lose this extra little pooch or whatever.
Sure.
But she looks awesome. And so like literally I had to tell her, I was like, you've gotten the way you've gotten here. It was at this level of effort. And if you want to worry about those tiny little fat stores and you want to reach that next level of leanness, we're going to have to take a step up, and we're going to have to get, it's just another level of commitment where it requires more tracking, more factors like nutrient timing, stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's just part of it. There's levels, and there's nothing to say you have to take steps to next levels. I mean, like our friend Adam, he's content being at a lower level. I mean, and I'm not meaning that in a bad way, but he's just happy there. It's perfect for longevity. He's healthy. He feels great.
Right.
Well, not these days. His workouts have been interrupted a little bit. But,
I know it.
Anyways, so
Probably back on top.
Yeah.
Well, for the average person, I know we've talked about this before, but it's just the energy equation, the law of energy equation. It's just what you put in versus what you push out.
Yeah.
And I think it's so funny how we complicate that and we make that more than it really is.
Yeah, it's true.
But at the end of the day, if you burn more than you intake, you'll start losing body mass.
Yeah. Yeah. When I think about the concept of nutrient timing, my mind automatically as I transition to faith is God's timing. And it's really cool that this happened on this day, because I had a pretty cool revelation yesterday. For those of you who don't know, we've announced it on social media and stuff like that, but my wife is pregnant. And I've actually announced this on a podcast beforehand. Yeah. And then I told my wife, she was like, we're not telling the public yet. I was like, ooh, so I had to delete that out. But anyways, my wife and I have attempted to get pregnant for 11 years now. And we, the one daughter that I talk about all the time, Presley, was birthed through infertility process, a very expensive infertility process. And other than that, we've been told, we have unexplained infertility. And this whole time we were just thinking something was wrong with this. Like,
sure.
There was, some sort of physiological issue that one of us had. We just didn't know about it. We couldn't figure it out. And we were just like, okay, it's never going to happen again. And then, 13 weeks ago, we found out we're pregnant.
Kind of after you stopped trying. That was the interesting part about it, too. Because, y'all went through it again.
Right. Yeah, we had some failed rounds.
And then I remember talking with you about it, and you're like, oh, well, I guess we're at where we are.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens.
And then it wasn't but 3 weeks later, you came and told me that you guys were pregnant.
I know.
Again.
After 11 years of unsuccessful attempts,
that's so cool.
And there's no science that can tell me that that's anything but God's timing in my mind. It will be revealed to us at some point in our life. We'll look back and say, that's why God made us wait until October of 2023 to have that baby, because this event was going to line up with this event. And I love looking back at my life and seeing how God has orchestrated different things to make just such cool things happen. Like, I look even to how I got the job here and the tiny little decisions that had to be made to end up here, to meet this person because I ran into this person. And there's just all these different connections. And you can't tell me that this stuff is random. I mean, it's just so cool. And one of my favorite verses to talk about God's timing, and just putting your hope and trust in God is it's one of the most quoted Bible verses, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope. Then you will call upon me and come to pray to me, and I will hear you. And that's exactly what we did through our infertility issues. It made us lean into God and put our trust and hope in Him, and not into science, not into physiology, not into putting our feet above her head for an hour after, stuff like that. And we had to put all of our hope and trust in Jesus to let that happen. And He blessed us in that. And so y'all keep praying for a continued healthy pregnancy for my wife. And
so happy for you guys.
For all the changes that are going to be happening in our world, going from 1 to 2 kids. But so stoked.
I'm super excited for you in that next chapter, though, for sure.
Yeah, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be so fun and exhausting, and that's why I built a home gym.
And 2 girls, right?
2 girls,
Ooh.
Yep, 2 girls, house full of women.
Oh, Daddy Joe.
Girl dad. Hashtag girl dad for life.
That's cool. Well, you got practice. You're good.
Yeah, I'm not as nervous. I feel good. I feel ready. I don't know. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining in. Listen to us talk about some meal timing stuff. And we hope that you learned something and that you come back next week and share, all that fun stuff. All right. We love you guys. We'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.
Much love.
Thanks for listening to the Progressive Overload podcast. We're honored to be a small part of your day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or are interested in sponsoring our efforts, please feel free to reach out via email. Find us at progressiveoverloadpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.
And as always, you can help us reach the masses by sharing our podcast with your friends and family. And then check us out on Facebook and Instagram to follow our own personal journeys and get an inside look on our day-to-day lives. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.